Hello and welcome on 360 Sport on Trust TV. I am Adeni Ajishafe. Well, we look at activities happening in the world of sport where we talk about handball, football, a lot of matches coming up today in the NPFL and also the Nigerian Women Football League. Not forgetting about European football that we'll be highlighting on the show. Joining me on sport program is Jide Olushola. Good to have you.
It's good to be here once again. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good one. We look at, well, let's start with handball. National Division 1 handball is actually taking place, and let's look at the result quickly for the women. Let's look at the result of the National Division 1 handball that took place yesterday. Abia Valiant, they defeated Police Machine by 24-20 as Suleja Shooters actually play out a draw. There you have Delta Force against Sokoto Rima just by a point. Sokoto Rima won by a point against Delta Force. Despite the force they hold, they could not defeat the Sokoto Rima. Looking at the National Division 1 Handball League women result, you look at this particular result, you look at it's very, very close between Delta Force and Sokoto Rima, Benue Queens and Suleja Shooters. And you have to look at Abia Valiant. They were the biggest winner, winning by 4 points ahead of Police Machine.
Yeah, it was a beautiful game. Games yesterday at the stadium, and surprisingly, this game between Suleja Shooters and Benue Queens, I expected that at least Benue Queens should win this game, but of course, it cannot just determine scores of sports just by saying that what they play on the pitch or the court. So it was a beautiful game yesterday, and hopefully you'll see more wins as the tournament goes on. But like you said, Abia Valiant, of course, they had a 4-point difference over Police Machine. That was a shocking result. Looking at the fact that Police Machine are one of the biggest teams when it comes to women and ball in Nigeria, and of course, it is owned by the Nigeria Police Force, and we know how well these paramilitary do well in such sports. But for them to lose against Abia Valiant, who probably do not have much talent
compared to them.
Yes, or experience, let me use your experience compared to the Police Machine. So it was a shocking result, but a very good one for the Abia Valiant.
Abia Valiant doing well there. Talking about the Nigerian Handball Division 1 League taking place here in Abu. Well, we've been looking at the result of that particular competition there. Let's move away from handball. Let's talk about the Nigerian Women Football League coming up today. At least matches will be coming on in Group A and in Group B for match day 9 of Nigerian Women Football League Group A. Pelican Stars of Calabar will be hosting Confluence Queens of Lokoja. Osun Babes play host to Nigeria Tels, who won convincingly in their last match. And you have Edo Queens versus Adamawa Queens in that particular match will be coming up also today. Now let's look at Group B. In Group B, you have Abia Angels versus FC Robo Queens of Lagos. Rivers Angels versus Delta Queens, as Sunshine Queens of Akure travel to play away to Bayelsa Queens. Those are the matches coming up. Now, let's take just one match from each group. You have in Group A now, I look at that Pelican Stars match. Pelican Stars, lately, they've not been too fantastic, though they have history behind them, but lately they have not been playing so well. Playing against Confluence Queens in Calabar. Do you see them winning?
Like you said, they've not played so well, so I don't see them winning. But again, anything can happen on the pitch. And it's the Pelican Stars. Yes, they have good players, who have done so well for that club. And but then things are not just going the way it should go for them right now for the Nigeria Women Football League. And I see them still. They will struggle. They will a little bit of struggle. But then, like I said, anything can happen. But then they will struggle. But then the biggest one for me is going to be in the Group B match. That's between Edo Queens and Delta Force. So that's going to be a very
Rivers
Angels and Delta Queens. That's going to be a very big. They're both in the South.
That's a derby.
That's a derby. So it's going to be a very strong game today. And
you can say the two teams know how to play football a lot.
And Rivers Angels, of course, they've gone to the Champions League. They've
experience
there. And most of the players play for the Nigerian Super Falcons and everything. And it's going to be tough one. Delta Queens, I feel Rivers Angels to defeat Delta Queens based on the fact that they have more experience for playing continental football. They're the only team now that have played the CAF Champions League now. So I think they will come with that experience of playing outside Nigeria, other teams outside in Africa, to defeat Delta Queens.
Delta Queens. Let's see if that will actually count against Delta Queens today as they file out against Rivers Angels in Port Harcourt. We've been looking at the fixtures coming up in the Nigerian Women Football League match day 9. Now let's go for the men. Let's talk about the NPFL match day 16. The week is here. Let's look at the midweek matches coming up. Niger Tornadoes will be playing against MFM. MFM just out of their game against Niger Tornadoes as Heartland will be tracked already. They are in Akure. They'll be playing against Sunshine Stars. Eyimba, who lost their last match, they'll be facing Raymond Stars, the team that has been at least making a lot of statement. Katsina United versus Dakada as Plateau United will be playing against Lobby Stars. You see a match that you want to look at like it's actually non-central derby between Lobby Stars and Plateau United at the Upper Aku Stadium in Makurdi. Aqua United, defending champion, play against Wiki Tourists of Bauchi. Abia Warriors to Gombe United. Enugu Rangers against Shooting Stars of Ibadan. That's another big match. You can follow, if you follow the history of football in Nigeria, Shooting Stars versus Rangers is always a big one. It's like Real Madrid versus Barcelona. The Kano Pillars versus Rivers United, while Kwara United play away to Nasarawa United at home in Lafia.
I feel for MFM anyway because their season has been very, very poor. They are at the bottom of the table as we speak right now, and I hope they were able to come out of that relegation battle, and to win their games. MFM is a good team, but then they've not been doing very well. It's the Lobby Stars against Plateau United. That's a very tough match. I don't know what I'll pick. But as well, Lobby Stars too, they've not been doing too well this season as well. And Plateau United, of course, they are in the top 3 of the table, and it's going to be a very tight one. Because Lobby Stars, this is a game of 2 champions, Lobby Stars and Plateau United, and I'll pick Plateau United to maintain their unbeaten run. I think 5 games now in a row to get to keep up, to be able to push Rivers United, and probably get to the top. Then the Rivers United against Kano Pillars, that's a very big match. I don't know what to go for. Kano Pillars too as well. Unfortunately, they've not been doing too well. Again, I don't know why. I was speaking with a player recently, and he said the reason why Kano Pillars is not doing well because they are not investing in players outside Kano State. Okay. That most of the players they are right now, they are just Kano State indigenes. So they should go out. They should widen the horizon. Yes, don't just stick with your own base. Your indigenes alone. Take players from around the country, even around the globe. Get the best players. So they say that's the reason why probably they're not doing so well in the league. But then anything can happen again. Okay, but another big match there is Shooting versus Rangers. Wow. The Flying Antelope versus Shooting. Like he said, he said in the history of Nigerian football, those 2 clubs. Yes, it cannot, going back to this of Sheikh Madegbami and co, Christian Chukwu and co, they all clashed together in the early 50s, 70s, 80s. Yeah. So we know how strong this. But unfortunately for Shooting Stars, they dropped down from the top flight football and they went down to NLO before start coming up a little bit. So it's going to be a very tough match as well too, based on rivalry, not based on the players, but that history between both clubs is going to give them that edge that okay, let us maintain our bragging rights over each other. So that's a very tough match ahead today as well. It's going to be a tricky one between Shooting Stars of Ibadan versus Rangers, the one we know as Flying Antelope. That match will be coming up in Ibadan. Well, let's see who's going to carry the day between the 2 giants. Yes, if you follow Nigerian football history in the NPFL, it has been a wonderful duel between these 2 clubs, and also not forgetting other matches that will be coming up today in the Nigerian Professional Football League match day 16. The men and the women are coming out to play today, Wednesday, where matches will be ongoing in different stadia in Nigeria. Well, we'll be giving you all the details concerning those matches that will be coming up today. Now let's digress a bit. Let's talk about Nigerian legendary star who actually is dead, but what he did, the prowess, his prowess in football cannot be forgotten so early. Celebrating Nigerian sport legend Teslim Balogun, the one they call Thunder. A lot of people don't know much about his history, but a lot of people that followed this man while he was playing football. Born in 1927, he died in 1972, 50 years ago. A committee was set up that will be looking at
how they can celebrate this man that brought so much joy to Nigerian football. He played for the then Red Devils of Nigeria, and after that, he actually became a coach, the first African man, yes, the first African man to be a professional coach. That is a Nigerian, Teslim Tonda Balogun, who famously, according to history, that his shot was so fierce that they had to name him Tonda. A lot of people that attacked to his playing style. In fact, there was a particular one that said that he played a ball against his younger brother and the ball pierced and went straight. Let's look at what happened where the committee visited the Honorable Minister of Mines and Steel Development, who incidentally is the chairman of the opening ceremony.
On what we intend to do to celebrate the legend, the foremost footballer Nigeria ever produced has been Tonda Balogun. Not only did he play for Nigeria, he played in Ghana, he played in the UK, the first Nigerian professional, the first Nigerian coach, the man who has impacted so much into Nigeria's football, be it players and coaches. He died about 50 years ago, having done so much for Nigeria. We felt that there is need for us to celebrate his demise. We don't want to wait for 1 month, 3 weeks before the event. That is why we are starting now. It's coming up in July. We are going to have lectures, we are going to have book launch, and we are going to invite teams from Ghana and Nigeria to play to celebrate him. Of course, the Honorable Minister is going to chair one of the most important events.
This is a challenge to the administrators of our football these days, to get things right. We need to go back to that period where we can pick, talent from the younger age, and then we can bring people like Rashidi Yakini again, Amukachi and all that. That was the glorious days of football, And I mean, I visited a few countries even before I came to government. Visited a few countries, and Nigerians were recognized more than Amukachi. When they say Nigeria, they will say, "Oh, Rashidi Yakini." That's what they know. So the football placed us on the map, and that was the recognition we have. I visited countries where that's all they'll be asking you. "Oh, do you know Amokachi?" I say, "Yes, my friend now." They'll be asking you all those things, and you become endeared to them because of our footballers. It's not so much the same these days, but we can attain that because we have the population, and the talents are there. We just need people to do the right thing at the right time, play the right age grade, and those people can be groomed, and then they can conquer the world.
On our own part, we feel that the emergence of this committee is long overdue, because Tonda Balogun has done a lot as far as football is concerned, not only in Nigeria, in the whole of Africa. Our young lads only hear of Tonda Balogun. They don't know who Balogun was. And with this thing that you want to put up, the documentary or information you want to gather, will now inform those who heard about him but who are not opportune to know much about him, information about him. I think, just like you have mentioned, that will also encourage these upcoming players to know that once you dedicate yourself to the service of your fatherland, one day you'll be remembered. One day you'll be immortalized.
The most important thing is we thought there is need for you to blend the history together. You need to look at the past and the present. If you don't celebrate your stars, you have problem building new ones. Let Nigeria knows what this man has done to this great country, so they too can still do more. We have some professional footballers now or before, after they have played in Europe, they find it difficult to come back to this country.
Well, celebrating Teslim Balogun, Tonda Balogun there, the man that particular stadium is named after. 50 years after his death, his name still rings bell. He was his legend in his own right. He played for so many clubs like Jos 11 and Papa Bombers, not forgetting the Red Devils of Nigeria. He also played away in England at the Peterborough United over there in United Kingdom. Well, let's quickly, because of our time, let's look at Teslim Balogun.
The stadium or the man?
The man, because this year is going to be 50 years that the man died, although, but what he did playing football and also as the first African to become a professional coach and all that still evolve around his name and a lot of fables here and there.
Of course,
and
that we cannot confirm.
Seriously, but to some extent, we know that for him to be so popular, for him to be so much celebrated, that means some of the history behind him, actually, some are true.
Yes, at least from what they have said about him, of course, we never saw him play. I never saw him play. So, but from what they said about him was that his shots were very, very powerful. Like the shot could tear anything in his path. That's why they named it Thunder. That's why they named it Thunder. And he was a legend, and people feared to play against him because of his ability, his dexterity on the ball and everything. So, but it's a good thing that 50 years after that, even though the stadium in Lagos was named after him, but there is a need to still keep that his memory alive for generation like mine and those that come after us to know who this particular person is.
Yes.
I'm sure if they don't do this thing,
people remember little by little bit.
Our children might not even know
who is Teslim Balogun.
So, like you and I never saw him play. So, but history told me about who he is. So that thing you should preserve the legend, the history of our legend for future generations. And I'm glad that the Ministry of Sports, as well as the minds and still are looking towards that direction. And kudos to the committee who have been tasked to keep his memory alive.
That legacy should be there.
Yeah, alive. So, but then then we could still name other places
to immortalize him.
Yes,
right?
Just beyond the stadium. It should not be only about sports. Just something else, just to keep him, just to keep that
his name ring bell.
Yes, but I hope that they can take this ahead to people like Rashid Yekini as well. At least I saw that one play. So, and I've seen him training in Ibadan.
I'm not forgetting the late Samuel Okwaraji.
Yeah, so they can still do similar things. Like what the son said, if you don't celebrate a legend, the new ones will not want to play, because they will feel that you will not celebrate them when they are gone. So to keep this, to bring up that spirit of patriotism, celebrate the old ones, the dead ones, the legend, and celebrate the incoming ones and the present ones.
We just hope that Nigeria will continue to celebrate all the legends that have done well in the world of sport, both living and the dead ones. Now we move away from celebrating Teslim Balogun there. Let's talk about the matches that were played quickly. We just take a look at all the results from the FA Cup, where Peterborough, they lost against Manchester City. Good one from the player that scored there. We just have to appreciate the fact that Man City are really not ready to drop their burden at all. Stoke City, they lost against Crystal Palace 2-1. And Middlesbrough, shockingly, defeat Tottenham Hotspur.
Extra time.
But they won. They won, either extra time or not.
It was a shocking defeat.
They won,
Yeah,
yes.
they won.
The same Middlesbrough dropped Manchester United.
So that means they are giant killers. Yeah, Middlesbrough, they played in the top life in the Premier League before they went down to second division.
It's a way of trying to make it look like maybe they are not so good, right? To say they played there before, but they did it.
I'm not saying that, but kudos to them, of course. Against Tottenham, it was against all odds that they could defeat Tottenham, a team led by Antonio Conte, who hardly loses this kind of games, except at the big, probably to the bigger clubs.
Big clubs, yes.
Yeah, but for him to have lost to a club as low as Middlesbrough, even though they played in the Premier League before, if that was quite embarrassing for Tottenham, but then that's football. They could have taken their chances earlier in the game before going to extra time, and they capitalized on their weaknesses and they scored that goal, and that was it. That's
football. Well, if you don't actually play well or plan well, you just have to blame yourself. Well, good one for Middlesbrough there, who are right now being titled the Giant Killers. Let's look at the EPL game that also took place in England. The result there quickly were Burnley. Well, let's look at the fact that Leicester, they were able to make the statement as they won against Burnley there. Good one for Leicester. A lot of fears before this game because Burnley can be so stubborn.
And Leicester, they've not won their last 5 games in the
so
NPFL.
At least.
So they were like a breather for them too. And the good news out of this was the fact that Jamie Vardy, one of my favorite players. I don't know.
Finally.
From injury, he came back and he scored the second goal, And James Maddison's goal that broke the heart of the Burnley was a very fantastic shot, almost outside the box, but a very fantastic shot that there was nothing that keeper could do about it. But I was happy for Jimmy Vardy coming from injury after several months of injury, and he came hamstring injury, and he came and he scored the second goal to seal that victory for. I could see the joy on their brother Rogers' face, you know.
They were so happy at least. Finally, we
after
broke the
5
deadlock.
games, 5 games, no win in 5 games, and they were going down the table. So they should not be rubbing their shoulders with players, with clubs like Watford, who are assuming relegation waters, or Leeds City, no doubt about, or Everton. Even Everton, shockingly, they're also trying to escape not falling into the relegation battle. So it's a good one for Leicester, for the Foxes.
Good one for the Foxes, who were able to win their game against Stubborn Burnley. Now, let's quickly look at other results that took place in Europe as we go straight to Germany. DFB Poker result 2-1. The team of Awoni Taiwo, they were able to win against St. Pauli. His coach has been celebrating him for his performance in that game, even though he did not score, but they won. That's against St. Pauli, 2-1. And we also look at Italian Coppa Italia result. Inter Milan against AC Milan ended in a goalless. That's a match. Attention was on that match because a lot of history that followed the two teams. And we look at French Coupe de France result also, looking at the fact that Nice, OGC Nice, they defeated Versailles by 2-0 expectedly. I was actually rooting for Nice to win this game, and they did.
Of course, Nice, with the kind of players they have, they should be able to defeat the opponent. So it was not a shocking result. It was an expected result. So,
but Inter Milan, AC Milan.
That's dead. That's, of course, like you said earlier, there's a lot of history behind these two clubs. San Siro history, you know, Inter Milan derby, you know. And for them to play the goalless draw, that means they matched each other skin to skin, ball to ball, shoulder to shoulder. They matched each other very well. And it's interesting that none of them is willing to, you know, drop his or her pride, you know, for that person to overtake them. That pride remains. So
the second leg is going to be.
So I wonder what the second leg. Anyway, both the first leg and the second leg is
same stadium.
Anyway, so we'll see what the second leg will turn out to be. At that point, it still goes goalless. Of course, there will
have
be
to go for penalties, which
know,
could be very dicey.
In anybody's game. So that shows how. And if you look at in recent years, Inter Milan and AC Milan, they've been pulled apart in terms of their performances, and now they've been picking up gradually. They've been closing that gap again, taking us back to the previous era where they were matched. If Inter Milan could be first, AC Milan could be second, or AC Milan could be first. Inter Milan, you know, they're already taking the first position. But now we see, at the point now, saw that gap widening. That Inter Milan was on top, AC Milan would be at 8th position or 10th position or 12th position. But now, on the table now, they've come close together. That should show that they are bringing up that old way of playing football, and to see how they can become that derby that everybody was always wanting to watch.
Derby d'Italia, talking about Inter Milan versus AC Milan in the Coppa Italia match that they played goalless. Well, we've been talking sport with Jide Olushola in the studio on the show. 360 Sport, it's been a wonderful time with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, we just have to go now. Our time is fast spent now. We just have to go. I am Adeniyi Ajishafe. Thanks for watching.